All right.
Monsieur Berger.
Hey there, John. I'm supposed to do the intro.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to episode number 14 of the Kelly Berger podcast. It's a new episode and a new location. And as you can tell, our guest today has very strong alpha energy. It's Jon Stannard. You can say hi now, John. Are you enjoying your pizza?
Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly Berger. Good to see you.
Good to be seen as always. Yep. Our friend Jon Stannard is a Minneapolis-based comedian. He runs very two fun open mics in the scene. And also, what John is most well known for is being a boxer training and a boxer. Yep, he's even drinking the alcohol to prove it.
You know, we gotta have a reason to train, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see you're maintaining this pizza part of the boxing weight or diet.
It's the thing when you work out regularly,
Mm-hmm.
when you're boxing, you can eat whatever you want.
Oh yeah, to get that
You
accumulate
still
that
got
mass.
this, yeah. You still keep these looks. If I stopped boxing, I would instantly be fat and probably bald. I don't know.
Like I remember when I ran cross country to a lot of swimming, I would have to develop like a monster appetite afterwards. Just got to keep that engine running.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So John, when did you start doing boxing?
I've been boxing since I was 19 years old. So
Wow.
I just hit the point where I've boxed more that I have not boxed. And yeah, 20 years now.
Nice. What motivated you to get started in boxing? Was it just like high school bullying, or I know that's usually the reason most people get into boxing, or self-defense in general.
I don't think that's the reason most people get into self-defense.
Oh.
But no, I wasn't bullied. I actually when I was a kid, I was into Taekwondo. I was a second degree black belt and that and I was actually like a reverse bully. Uh, like some of the when I remember being like in second grade and getting a fight with a couple of third and fourth graders because they were bullying people in my grade. So like people would tell me, "Oh, this guy's picking on me," and I'd go fight him. But I was little, and then they got way bigger, and I stayed little, so that didn't work too long.
Yep.
Uh,
So you basically just enjoyed fighting and just saying like, "Oh, I like this. Let's keep doing
I
this."
love yeah, I love fighting. I've always watched and been a fan of boxing. Like my dad and I were watching like George Foreman versus Evander Holyfield, like the George Foreman Michael Moore fight where 45-year-old George or 46-year-old George won the title. That was the first fight I ever like bet on, and me like 7 years old won $35, which was a lot of money for a 7-year-old in 1992. Uh, but no, I've been a fan of boxing, and then when I got out of shape after I stopped Taekwondo, and I was up over 200 pounds. And then I met my first boxing trainer, a good buddy of mine, a lifelong friend now, and he kind of challenged me to do it, and I was like, I could do this, and he thought I would quit, but I never did, and within 4 months, I was down to like 100, from like 202 pounds to like 157 pounds, and yeah, I love the sport, I love the combat of it. I've made really good friends in boxing, and I feel more confident and more able to defend myself, or you know, teach Mr. Berger how to throw a good punch. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and like we
Keeps
talked about
me
this.
keeps me in shape too. Keeps me fit. I would be so fat if I wasn't boxing.
Yeah, and then after you did boxing, you started getting into comedy, and we've talked about like the parallels between the two so much. When did you start doing comedy? I know you talked about starting in Iowa.
Yes, sir.
What
So I've
city in
always
Iowa?
Iowa City. Iowa
right.
City and Cedar Rapids were the two. My first like Saturday pro gigs that I was hosting was at Penguins Comedy Club in Cedar Rapids.
Yep. Is that still going?
It's got a name change, but yeah. Now I'm blanking on what the name is, but they do have a new name, and I think they moved locations as Penguins because there was some flooding in Cedar Rapids one of the years. But it's I've always been like, it's weird. Like my dad and we would watch boxing matches when I was a kid, like 5 years old. And then we would watch like George Carlin, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor stand up. So I've always been a fan of comedy, making people laugh. I've always been like a class clown. But I didn't really ever think about performing in that regard. Like I'd performed in like plays and comedies and musicals and given speeches and felt always added comedic things to them. And I'd sang before, but something about when I saw an open mic in at the Yacht Club in Iowa City, and I saw some people doing it that were my friends and I thought were funny, but like I didn't think that they were like could be a stand-up comedian. And then I saw that they could and they were funny, and I'm like, yeah, I'll give this a shot. And I didn't really, the host actually encouraged me because I would bring weed. I brought a doobie here. I know it's
It's legal
legal
up in
here,
Minnesota.
not legal there. Yeah.
No.
But I would smoke with the host, and then one day he was short on comedians. It was a Monday night in a basement, which is ironically enough the show that I started. And he was like, John, you're funny. Go up, do some time. Just do my jokes if you want. And I'm like, no, no, no. So I prepared a set, and then I went up, and I've been a fan ever since. Addicted to making people laugh or getting smiles or making people go, oh, what they say, a cringe is worth 3 laughs. I don't know. In between, a little cringe sandwich. You don't want to make people just cringe.
Yeah,
Like
you can
human
make people.
centipede of comedy.
Well, stamps like boxing, you can make people feel like a wide range of different emotions. Like there's the comics we cheer for and the comics we cheer against, just like in a boxing match.
Sure. And what's weird too, Kelly, is there's so many comparisons between boxing. I mean, I can make comparisons between boxing and life, but specifically with boxing and stand-up that it drives it's I mean, like for example, and you trained with me a little bit, so you know some of this, like to me, like practicing your punches, like shadow boxing and hitting the bags is like working your jokes like by yourself, like writing and practicing in front of the mirror. It's like shadow boxing in front of the mirror. You're studying yourself. And then like an open mic, that's like sparring. Like we're in here, we're both buddies, we're working stuff out. It might not land, but what we're learning, we're getting better. And this is the closest thing to the real thing. We're right there in the mix of it. And then a fight, your big match, that's your show, man. So you're already prepared, you're ready to go. That's your reward for the hard work you put in. And there's so many parallels. I love it.
And training, like
timing.
Also,
Yep.
you got to keep doing it. Like once you stop boxing, you get the memory doesn't get stored in. It's got to keep getting refreshed.
Oh yeah,
Same
you
thing
take
with
a little
stand up. Like
time
you got to
off
keep
and
doing it. Like even though you get to this level, if you stop doing, it, you can get right back down to amateur the next day. If you just get too, and also if you get too confident with boxing and comedy, that's usually when you get hit back the hardest.
yeah.
When you
You
think you
have to
got it.
have a confidence in yourself and belief in your abilities, but a lot of that comes through the repetition, the hard work, you know that you've got rooms full of people to love, to just die fall over laughing. Like your material is good, you've practiced it. So yeah, I love the sport, and I love comedy in those same regards. There's so many wavelengths that are the same. Yeah. Anyway,
And
I
also
get to
the clash of
go ahead.
personalities.
Yeah. And being able to adapt, like in a boxing match, you want to try out, spar as much as you can so that you can see all the different styles or all the different audiences that are going to react to you. And if you see something new or something's not working, you need to be able to switch it up. You need to be able to adapt. Like, you can't, if you go out there and start doing your jokes and you realize the crowd is not the not the group you were intending for, you need to have backups.
Yep,
I have reserves.
you gotta know your room just like you know your opponent. Like if you go into a dive bar, you're saying like, okay, this is where I can do my more dirty material and be more active.
Yeah, you're studying them as you go. You're reacting, you know.
Or versus like when you go to like an old folks home, you're thinking like, okay, these people, they came to comedy to sort of like escape negativity.
Yeah. They I mean, plus, sometimes oh, I had a this is the pot right there, forgetting the actual connection between the boxing and the comedy there, but it's there so much. I think about it in studying the crowd as in studying myself, and yeah, you mentioned timing. Timing is so important. And oh, I remember what you said about if you take time off from boxing, you really feel it. If you take time off from comedy, you really feel it. You need that flex. It's a muscle. And yeah, it getting out there in front of the crowd is just like getting out there in front of different opponents. Now I'm rambling. Go on, ask me a question. I'm an idiot here,
Yeah, and
Kelly.
also another similarity between comedy and boxing is that you need to get in, step in the ring with confidence. Like as soon as you sort of flinch or think like this isn't going to go away, you're going to get knocked down. And also we've had moments when we stepped on stage and they're not fully confident, thinking like, also like what's going to happen, and you got to start to learn to adapt to it.
Yeah. Well, and I've been a boxing coach now. I mean, they've called me coach for the last 10 years, but I've been an official USA boxing coach for the last 4. And just as well as I do, in the comedy scene, that people are going to come up to you, new people, new comics, and ask you, what's the secret? What do I need to do? Like, they think that there's like one thing. Oh, just read this one book and you're good. Like, watch this video called The Secret and then you'll know. That's the same thing in boxing. You're like, what do I need to do how long before I'm a world champion? I'm like, you just have to stay in the gym and keep practicing. You have to get out there. That's the best. I tell people when they ask me advice at mics, I'm like, one, just go do it. Just go do it. Be comfortable. Be yourself. And then also don't listen to advice. Yeah, so maybe don't listen to the advice I give you other than saying get out there and do it. So get into the gym and train. Don't go home and read some pamphlet on boxing.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're not doing it, you're not learning it.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, because you got to keep doing it to get the bombing out of your system, to get used to it. Just like when you first get into like a boxing ring, you take your first couple hits, you get knocked down, you're gonna feel like the pain of the punches, and the feeling the punches just as equal as the painful as feeling the bombs.
Mm-hmm.
And it never goes away.
But yeah, you got to have your wits about you and be calm and relaxed and not let it get to you and learn from it. We learn from bombs. We can't just beat ourselves up.
Yep. And also, John, you not only like a coach at boxing, to like people want to boxing, you've also for the past couple of years you've been trained like local comedians like how to do some boxing.
That's true. I mean, I offer free class, a free session to everybody. And, comedians are just like coworkers to me. So there's a lot of them that, what I do. They're interested in either the boxing or the getting in shape aspect or the defending themselves. So yeah, maybe they want to get to know me better. I don't know. Am I that charming, Kelly?
Yeah, I remember
What was your
taking your
reason?
intro level courses, which was very helpful. Like right before
You
I moved
paid
down to
me.
Austin.
you paid me, and I hope my prices are reasonable and you got your money's worth. But I thought we had some good sessions together. What was now I flipped it on you. I'm the interviewer. But what was your real reason for getting into boxing? Because you didn't just do one and done. Like I thought you were getting some good things out of it.
Yeah, well, one of the things I regret most in my later life was just not learning how to defend myself as a young kid, and that's like a big regret with a lot of guys, because I sort of like carries into work and comedy, like because I think once you realize like once you don't learn like how to defend yourself as like especially as a guy, you realize like oh you it's sort of like not learning like how to properly wipe your ass as an adult.
Well, and so much this that confidence knowing that it goes there, you're okay, helps you avoid conflict. Like you don't want to get in fights. You're not looking for trouble, but sometimes there might be situations where somebody might try to push your buttons or push you around or bully you or and just knowing that you're good if it goes there can help you to and just that confidence. The bully detects it because they don't want to fight anyone who knows how to fight,
Right.
even if they think they're going to win. uh so it helps you just, somebody starts picking on you and you know how to deal with it. It gives you that extra confidence, which well, I can't swear by it enough. I'm not a tough guy. I don't look like a tough guy. I never try to start fights with anybody. I always got a stupid shit-eating grin on my face, hopefully. But if it came there,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
still
okay.
trying to remember how to tie up my wrist bandages.
That was the funniest thing. That was the hardest. You were some people have problems throwing the punch or getting the guard back or sitting in the stance, first few days. You got that right away. The hand wraps, though, you still have problems. How do I wrap these?
Yeah, I don't know. I just always have like difficulty with like mechanical directions. Like it took me a while to learn to tie my shoes as a kid. Because I think like when people gave that instruction, they gave like three steps in one. You do this, and this. Okay, let's do step one. And also, has
Yeah.
any comedians talked about like how the boxing lessons benefited their stand-up set, or were they just saying like, oh, just for fun?
I think not too much, but because there's only been a few of them that have really stuck with it. You and Aiden and Stephen Brando still coming. For a while, Ali, Ebenezer, and Alex were training. Alex and Whitney are training with me now. They've done 3 sessions. So it's I think that they benefit from it because I think it gives them a little bit more confidence and in multiple ways. Just in the general, if you're doing anything active, you're gonna get that endorphin release. Your body's gonna get once you get in better shape, you look in the mirror and be like, I look pretty good. You'll feel better about yourself. That's gonna translate to the stage. But just, the endorphin release of I don't know how this applies to the other genders, but with me with dudes is like it's cool. You learn something more about you make friends on an additional level when you've been in the ring with someone. Like recently I was at the gym and this guy came in and he's the guy that I fought last in July. And we, handshake, hug it up over there, and then somebody wasn't a boxer looked at me as like, isn't that guy you just fought in July? Like, a sanctioned boxing match. Uh and I was like, yeah, we're pals. Like I've made lifelong friends in boxing. As soon as that bell rings, or if one of us were to get hurt or something like that, we're looking out for each other. We want each other to be better. And I hope that translates to the comedy scene. Like I'm hosting these mics. I don't walk away when y'all are on stage unless I'm going to try and bring more people to the audience. I see all of your sets. I hope that the community, and most of them are really most of the community is great. I want us to encourage each other and be sparring with each other. to make ourselves better, not to knock ourselves down.
Yep.
Yeah. How many more boxing analogies can you come up with here, John?
I think we'll ring the bell on that one. Like, yeah, John, you run two. Ding ding. Yeah, John, do you still like host like two, like the Moose and Jameson up in Minneapolis?
Yes. Every Monday at the Moose and every Friday at Jameson's.
Yep, and speaking of like learning like to have boxing improve your comedy, I still remember like the couple of fights that happened at the Moose in the past couple of years.
There weren't really fights at the Moose. There were one time, a couple times, a fight almost started. One time, somebody got spit in the face. You know, Moose is crazy, but
It's a
Moose is
little
one of
biker
the
bar in
best.
the cities.
But the best staff, the safest bar to be in, actually. Oh, I got the beer hiccups. But no, it's when I first joined a boxing gym in Minneapolis, when I moved up here in 2016, it was Uppercut Gym, and they're right on. It's now Las Campeones. It's right over on Quincy, right over by Indeed and what used to be Able, which is now Booch or like kombucha. And we would go over to Moose. That was like our home bar. It's right over on Spring and Monroe, and they had karaoke Tuesday through Sunday, 6 nights a week, and it was a lot of fun and great staff. And the owner of the bar is the owner of the Italian Americans Club, Larry Rinaldo. The owner of my gym is the owner of the Irish Americans Club, Sean Clerkin. So they're always there. They know each other. The owner of Moose's son trains at Firehouse Gym where I coach. But before Uppercut sold to Las Campeones, we were going there, and we would go over to Moose to sing karaoke. And then when I decided to start an open mic in 2021, I'm like, you do karaoke 6 nights a week. What do you do Mondays? And they're like, oh, we tried trivia, we tried like a game night. None of it really worked. And I'm like, can I do comedy? And they're like, can you do comedy? And so, well, we started, and I
like
had the
that tone,
support.
the way you made it sound like they said it. Can you do comedy?
Yeah, well, we're here. We are. Almost 3 years later, we've hit every single Monday night except for ones that we plan to take off, which were only two. One of them, 4th of July, 2022, and Christmas of last year. So my mom would have killed me if I, sorry, Mom, can't come to Christmas dinner. Got to host the Moose.
Yep.
But no, it's been a lot of fun. What I like too is, if I hosted two rooms that were the same, I would drive myself crazy. But the Moose is kind of more like a show hybrid. Like everybody, you've headlined it.
Yep, it's very structured, and
it's not a pure open mic where anybody signs up and gets up. The order slightly changes. Everybody's guaranteed a spot if it's their first time, and if you're really funny. No, and we have like a lightning round at the end to try to give everybody time if they didn't get on the lineup, and we've got a limit. It's not a show that goes on forever like the Terminal Bar where everyone gets time. It goes on till the next day. I appreciate
those. Did you do that structure because like the Moose says like you got to be out here at this time?
They did initially, but now they don't care because we have more people in the comedy show than they do upstairs. And they even started doing karaoke upstairs on Mondays. And because the sound is, different levels, it doesn't really affect us. We actually help each other out. But typically we have more people in the basement on Mondays. But it's cool because we have a pro headliner. So I advertise it and you headlined it, that, it's an open mic. Not everybody gets up, but we try to get up as many people as we can, and we try to be fair. If you didn't get up this week, maybe you'll get up next week. Or if you didn't get up, watch the whole show, sign up for the lightning round, which we've just brought back. That's 30-second sets. You go up, tell a joke, be funny. The audience votes. If you win, you get a free drink and a guaranteed 5-minute set the next week at a primo spot. So it's I like doing that, and there's a lot of work in that, but it's kind of more of a show. And then any of the audience members that come, they know that they're seeing a show, and at least one person is paid there to do a 20-minute set, a pro. And I like when the other comics stay and watch, because that could be them very soon. I think it's cool when the comedians make the pictures I take of them on stage, their profile pictures, or when their first time headlining a room is at the Moose. I know we're just a little open mic here in Northeast, but we have a whole lot of fun. But then at Jameson's, I can just chill, be like, yo,
Very
the
nice.
sign up get up goes by the list, yo. I don't do anything to it. Unless you get up at CCU, we'll put you up right away. But other
Yep.
than
And
that,
also at Jameson's, I noticed you play this new little game called Hot Ones.
well, Hot Ones is where we got inspired. Hot Ones is that internet show where the celebs take the hot sauce. Hot Sets
Okay,
created
that's what it was called.
Yep. Hot Sets created by the legendary Ira Ford and myself. It's comedians voluntarily take a dose of any uh famous hot sauce that Ira Ford chooses to bring that show,
Is it
and then
like a
try to do.
secret family hot sauce or just a store
No,
brand?
no, it's one you can look up. It's like either Flatline hot sauce or the bomb, or there was one like Southern hot sauce. I can't remember. But they're all ones that you can be like, oh, okay. I've seen this on a program, or I've heard of this hot sauce. And then yeah, try to do their jokes, and it's an exercise in sadism, masochism on my part, because I don't even know why I do it anymore. I did it the other day. It ruined my jokes. I had all this new. If I recommend to the people, if anyone that sees this, if you're gonna do hot sets, do your favorites. Don't try to do new material while your mouth is burning and your face is sweating, and you can already feel your asshole beginning to
The feeling
melt.
of doing a new joke will make you sweat enough.
Yeah, you're trying to remember it too. Like you need it to be like a reflex, like with boxing, like muscle memory. You've trained that jab so much that you don't have to think about it. You throw it.
Did anyone have like a hilarious set like after
Oh,
having the hot
the
sauce?
whole
Just
thing was hilarious, but like most of the laughs, at least for me and for a lot of the comics, were just due to our agony, and like us trying to deliver these jokes while being like, "Oh my god, it's so fucking hot." Oh wait, can I swear on here, Kelly?
yeah, go fuck yeah, you can swear.
All right, yeah. So no, yeah, hot sets is a lot of fun. It was funny though, because this one time Ira and I we do a lot of shows together. Really good friend of mine. I say he's my best friend, but I'm not supposed to say that because he makes fun of me. But the we got booked on a show like out of town, and somebody had seen the booker had just seen a clip of us doing hot sets on my story after, you know. So he books us to do a show. Ira's headlining, I'm opening. Uh And then after he's following us on social media, sees one of the Jameson's hot set stories, thinks that's a lot of fun, and last minute, day of show, is like, "Hey, you guys, can you do the hot sets thing tonight too?" I'm like, "Man, no, this is the show. We're not taking hot sauce." And
If he was a real fan, he would have just
how
put the
much are you
hot sauce.
paying us actually? How much extra are you paying us? Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. That covers the medical bills.
I don't know. I mean, it's a different atmosphere. It's fun for an open mic. It's fun. It's really good for a theme show, but not a real show. You can't just be like, All right, and now we're going to put a hot candle under your headliner's ass. Well, hopefully his jokes are still as well rehearsed, you know?
And that's another reason why boxing is a good goes well with comic, because it both prepare you for like crazy sets shows that go out of hand. Because
Sorry.
it's not like theater where everything's set, stone, perfect. Like conditions are perfect for the audience.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, I agree because I've done both. I mean, any comic knows. I mean, if a comic is just done comedy, they might not be sure, but imagine like there's a lot of theater people that just do theater. They're like, oh, I could do comedy. I've done comedy my whole life. Shakespeare, you know, it's fun. But I just want to take like a bunch of the best roast comics and go heckle a play. It's like, what? We're helping.
Yeah. If I don't tell him he's gonna suck, he's
You're not
gonna
a
think
pro.
he's.
You can't deal with this. You got to roll with the punches. You got to have thicker skin than this. You're gonna
Yep.
try to shoot Othello in front of me. You know?
That's why I stopped going like the theater plays after starting comedy, because you just get so used to the bill just to walk outside during a bad set.
Yeah, I don't do that as the host, so I endure you guys for you.
Yeah, and also you learn to like to run with the room and be in like the same. You're in the same reality with audience, performers. That also makes comedy like so good to watch, but also like so hard to perform.
No, and I sometimes I feel like, and I have been called like a comedy mom. At I don't care at Jameson's because it's so laid back. We're having fun. We're having a good time. That's the energy I want. But at Moose, I wanted to be more like a show because there are a lot of people there every week that think of it as a show, especially if they're friends and family of the headliner. And if they come there and there's a bunch of people in the back just standing around talking, or comics going up there going like, what else? Blah, blah, blah. It's like I'm gonna come over there and I'll be like, hey guys, there's a show going on. Can you please keep it down? Or I'll be like, hey, there's a whole nother bar upstairs. Go up there and talk as loud as you want. There's a show going on here. I mean, I know it's an open mic. It's the Moose. It's a Monday night show. It's not Acme. It's not Sisyphus. It's not a comedy club. But the performers deserve the respect, and the people, especially the people that came there to see those performers, they they deserve for the show not to be disrupted, especially when it's so easy to avoid. And I think that comics are guilty of it a lot. And you know, we don't want people talking over us when we're on stage, disrupting our timing or like keeping an audience member from really hearing our joke and really laughing. So I'm not afraid to go up and tell them, get the fuck out of the room, you asshole, disrupting the show. Whether that's a comic, even one that I like, or a maybe a belligerent audience member, but that isn't as often. But it's a show. Like I said, it isn't Acme, but if you're talking or even have your phone out, you're getting kicked the fuck out of there. And I'm like, give you like 18 warnings, but I'm the comedy mom, gatekeeping or whatever. I don't know. It's bullshit.
Yeah. If they don't like it, they can set up their own open mic.
Yeah. Go across the street from another venue. Like,
Yeah. This is a different story, but it kind of makes me think of like the Rick Diaz versus Hans Kim down in Austin, Texas.
that's some comics I don't know about.
Yeah,
What happened?
It was basically a Kill Tony thing where Hans Kim was a regular on Kill Tony, and then some guy challenged him for his spot named Rick Diaz. And Tony,
His name
his
is
being like,
Hans, though.
yeah. But this is making me think about that event was Tony Hinchcliffe was like a WWE fan. He made like this whole big thing, and they had like a joke off in an arena. And Hans Kim won the crowd in the arena because they were all there to see him. But people said like Rick Diaz had better jokes. It was more of a thing. And listen, like I know like every comedy contest is fixed, and Hans is a local, and people just had like
Yeah.
the same
What
reaction
do
to
you
that
think
thing.
every comedy context is fixed?
Oh yeah.
I don't think it is. I think one big way to know that it's not fixed, but know that how easily biased it is uh fucking bring 50 family members to it. Bring 50 of your friends and family members to House of Comedy where there's 300 people in there, we'll say 200. Let's say there's 200 in there and 50 of them are your friends and family and they all cheer like crazy for every single joke of yours. You're doing well in that contest, regardless of if it's fixed or not.
Yeah. So
And
I
I don't
think you
think
will
that's the
have
way
an
to rig
advantage
it.
to
I think
bring.
that's the way to bring support. And I love when people bring folks to the shows that aren't comics that are just there to enjoy or there to support. But
Yeah,
uh, but yeah, I kind of know what you mean, but also
like I remember in House of Comedy, there's that one lady who brought like a whole bunch of people. She advanced to the finals every year, even though she never does comedy outside of the contest. And listen, that's what the contest is for, is to bring people in. And to me, like the real people who win, like especially like the House of Comedy contest, are the people who get hired by the club. Like I remember the last year I did, like the big winner I thought of that round was Elise Cole. She didn't even make it to the finals, but she got
at
hired as
least
a
it's
regular.
funny.
Yes, very
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
And that's like the
I'm
main
sad I
reason.
never went to Can when she hosted that. Or yeah, ever. I've still never been there.
Oh, that
Because
was a fun.
I always coach Thursday nights, and then if anything, I live right by Terminal. Um, so it was like, yeah, missed out on it. I heard that it was a great room, and she's awesome. I know, and that you get I heard you got like free game access just for being a
Yes.
performer and a drink or a slice of pizza or something. Like that sounded like perfect. My
Yeah, I mean,
dumbass never went. Yeah.
yeah, and it was also in like such a fun location. It was sort of like in like an underground amusement park. So it had that whole feel to it. I recorded my 10-minute clean set there because people were coming in there with their families and kids. I'm like, when I came back last year to headline there, I decided like, okay, this will be my time to practice out doing clean material, which was not my forte, but it was a muscle that needed to be stretched out.
I mean, I think a lot of your jokes when I think about the punchlines and I think about the funny part of them, you don't need to swear.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm missing out. I think of like DWI Dan and you know,
That's an old one.
you know. But no, I mean, I kind of I swear normally, just naturally. I try not to too much, and I'm impressed with my ability to not swear. And when I'm like coaching, you know,
Kids.
yeah, kids. Like I'm training a 13-year-old and 14-year-old, and I don't swear at all. I don't even think about it. But then like on stage I might a little bit if I feel comfortable, if I'm in that mood, but I don't know, I kind of do agree with I don't know if it was Seinfeld, I think, who said it, something about like he would try to cut the swear out always,
Mhm.
but if he couldn't, if it because like there was a couple jokes that he told without the swear and it just
Yeah.
didn't hit, then you got to have it there, it's needed. But I don't know. It's some people are just talking about such dirty topics anyway that it's like I don't think that you could make this clean.
Yeah, I try to go by Judy Carter's definition of a dirty joke. Is like anything that goes in and out of a hole. That's when you know it's too dirty.
Well, it was like
But
I
then,
was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
but then again, everyone has like different definitions. Like even the people who try to get clean, saying like, "Oh yeah, people still got offended," and people attitudes change over time.
It's and it's patronizing too. Like I was I think I was 11 or 12, and my little sister was 10, 9 or 10, and we had a babysitter. Was my cousins, two uh like 19, 21-year old cousins, ladies, and they're talking in front of me about fucking, and I'm 10 or, like I said, 11 or 12, and they keep saying, well, the last time I went to the store was the other. They kept saying went to the store instead of, and like they said went to the store like 17 times, and always with a went to the store. Like to term, you motherfucker, I know what you're talking about. Like I, I might be young, I might not have gotten my dick wet yet, but I know I'm not a moron,
I
maybe,
think
but
also that's why South Park is so popular because people are like, yeah, this is how we actually talk when we were
oh, it's like
kids.
when the people like spell out the swear words too. It's like, you think your kid can't spell? Is that what it is? Or your dog? I think that's funnier though when they're like, we can't say bath in front of the dog because he'll know. So we gotta go give Samson his bath. It's like
And
just
also
use the
like,
nose. Hose yourselves down.
and also I think it also clean comedy, dirty comedy, it also depends on like who the person is. Like some people are more naturally clean, they can pull it off better. For example, Louis Anderson, he's a great clean comic because it matches his personality, like he's family orientated.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some people who are just who have like a tragic life story saying like there's no way we can clean this story up.
Somebody I was talking to the other day, was coaching boxing actually, and he was like, "Oh, so you're a comedian? Oh, I go to Acme all the time." And ended up, the dude actually has been to Acme all the time. Like he was there last time Jake Johansson was there, and most recently, and he knows Ira and a few of the other comics, and but it was funny, just a regular non-comedian being like, "Yeah, I heard this comic the other day, and I couldn't believe how well he was really funny, and then I didn't even realize till after the whole hour was over that he hadn't swore once." It's like that was what was impressive to you about how about it's like
Yeah.
it's impressive not that he was clean, but that I didn't know that he was clean, till I realized it. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, I think there's one last thing I want to kind of talk about, and that was like I think this happened 2 years ago where you had that anonymous attack on your social media when you were hosting, taking that hosting job. That one lady that got offended.
Oh, okay. Oh, I remember when I was serving. I was working as a server, but I told them at this restaurant that I could also host if they needed me to, and mess up my hair here as much as I can. And they said okay. But they'd never scheduled me to host. But one Friday night they scheduled me, but they put me on the schedule as hostess. And I they know I'm a comedian, and I told the
Oh, you knew this
managers
lady?
what the I worked at this restaurant I'd worked there several months, but I'd only served. And they all liked me. I got along with the whole staff. I liked most of them too. And but they just never scheduled me as a host. Well, evidently they needed a host one night, so they scheduled me, but I pop up on the schedule on the app as hostess. So I saw that, and like I said, they know me. I've gone out with them. They've been to we did a show there for Christmas. I put on a show for the owner. I brought my sound system, and Aiden and Max came, and they both crushed. And the owner, like, I didn't think that we were getting anything. I thought that, like, our guys can't give you anything except for maybe, steak and lobster dinner here. And they were like, sounds good to us. Owner walks out and gives me $240 after the show. And he's like, you guys were great. And I was like, thanks. I like, part of me wanted to be like, hey, owner said, here's $20 for each of you. Yeah, it's like, no, but I split it. We each got $80 out of the deal. But anyway, what what the hell was I saying, Kelly?
So you're talking being listed as a hostess,
Oh
and
yeah. So they knew I was a comic. And I come to the scheduling manager who I was very friendly with, and I said, you scheduled me as a hostess. And she goes, I know. And I'm like, do you want me to be a hostess or a host? And she's like, hostess. And I'm like, you know me. If you schedule me as a hostess and you want me to be here as a hostess, I'll be here as a hostess. But don't get mad at me when I show up as a hostess in a dress, all right? Because, like, I'm very, I don't know, maybe people that would watch this, who would want to watch I don't know. I'm very I would think that I'm not a bigot. I'm very respectful of that. But if you look at the definition of, but I don't know, I deserve to be treated with my own integrity too. Whatever she knows what my identity is. If you look up at the definition of a host, it could be anyone. Host is a neutral term. Hostess means a host who identifies as a woman, or a woman host.
hostess.
Yeah, that's the definition of the term. So if you were a woman and you didn't want to be a hostess, I fucking respect that. If you did want to be a hostess and you were any gender, I respect that. But I am not a hostess, but I'm a comedian. So if you want to schedule me as a hostess, I'm gonna be a hostess. And I told her this. But then they got mad at me when I showed up in a dress. I didn't just, I mean, I could have done it up more. I could have done the makeup better, but I had help from Chicky Dabs.
Yep.
I
Shout
had
out to
some,
Cheeky.
shout out to Chicky, shout out to Lauren Rice. She provided me with some clothing. I also, with the dress, I also got some clothing from the British lady I dated. And I had a little beret in my hair parted to the side. I had some blush, some rouge, not too much makeup, a little bit of lipstick, a blue dress, and some red leggings because it was still kind of cold. Um, and I didn't want to shave my legs. And and I showed up there, and I also brought with me a change of clothes to be a normal host. And that manager got so pissed off and like unfriended me on social media and started a thing. The GM thought it was funny. He was like you do have a change of clothes though, right? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I brought, and like, do you want me to change? He's like, I'd prefer that if you don't mind. And I'm like, yeah, I got you, Dave. Now, he was cool. He thought it was funny. But no, it caused a big rift, and then somebody else got in an argument with me about it at another job. And yeah, evidently the lady said that, what if someone comes in here and they think that you're trans, and then they find out that you're not, and that they think you're making fun of trans people. And I'm like, how does anyone know what I am? And why would she find out? And how is it her business? I could be just a guy in a dress, and I prefer that way. And I dressed very modestly. Like, that outfit was not promiscuous or unapproving. It was very host worthy.
Yeah.
I just, the colors could have been matched better. I could have had better help.
You could have
Yeah,
been a
I wanted to be
contender.
a prettier host.
Yeah, I remember seeing like that one. I remember like that I was down in Austin at the time. I saw that one lady who just got offended on it over social media, who was
Oh,
just
she got
kind of
so mad. She was like, "You're
just
not, you're a disgrace to women." And it's like, I think I ran this by all of like a lot of women, and most of them thought it was funny, and some of them who didn't like it. It wasn't the post. It was just like, that's a bad outfit, John. You were just you need to your colors did not look good.
yeah. And that one lady who was
Oh,
not
look at me, I
on
look like a
social media,
starburst.
she went after one of my jokes that I posted on Facebook later
I
on.
ended up working with her later. She ended up apologizing to me about that. Yeah.
Like I remember she went after me when I went on a Facebook when I posted like a Facebook joke, just a random joke. And the joke that got her stuff was like saying like once you start podcasting, you learn a lot of things like the ethnic slurs just slip right out.
You had a banger. You had a murderous line back to her, and so did like uh fucking John Conroy or Nate Abshire. One of those. They were loving it.
Well,
Yeah.
when she was commenting, she seemed very unhinged, and the comedians were more level headed. They knew like how to base back to boxing, like fight back with a level head.
Yeah.
Yeah, she accused me of being like super racist. And I showed her a Snapchat picture with me and Miss Pat,
Yeah.
and she said like,
Although
"Oh,
that
was
did
that your
kind of seem
black friend?"
like
I'm
you
just
were
like,
like proof that I've been seen with black people.
not just black people, famous black people.
Famous, you know. I don't associate with the regular black folk.
And she said, accused me of saying like, "Oh, she said like, oh, you're playing like, oh, I have a black friend card." She said that like, and then she said something like, "Oh, I bet when you go to the strip club, I guess you think the stripper falls in love with you." And I replied back saying like, "I give the black ones extra money to pay up for reparations."
Oh, Kelly. That's great.
Yeah, I think that was the
But
story.
no, I ended up working with that chick, and she ended up being cool to me. I think she just whoever made fun of her husband's big forehead, I think it was Derek Johnson. Oh, it
Oh,
was great.
well, if you get made fun of by Derek Johnson, yeah, I would get pissed too.
He got ripped. He got roasted. But it was like honestly, I think that after she worked with me, I mean she apologized, but I think she not like liked me, but she liked working with me.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how was she in person? Was she more level-headed?
She was she was fake but sweet. Uh but I could tell that the fakeness was wearing. Like she when she met me and saw that what I she was like, okay, this guy's all right.
Yep. Was she as hot as her profile picture?
No, she was like I don't know, like I don't like talking about women in that type of manner, but I think that she was very concerned about her appearance. I think a lot of the stuff was she wore a lot of makeup.
Yep.
I think that she had had plastic surgery done. Uh, so that was a very big concern for her.
All right. Let's see. Well, John, it was nice talking to you. I think that's how we're going to
Oh,
end the hour.
nice talking with you as well, Kelly. This was fun. Yeah.
Yep. I think this is the way we're going to
When
conclude.
can I view this? When can we see this? Where can my army of followers and boxing
Oh yeah, this
fans?
will come on probably like in about 2 weeks. If you got any shows you want to plug and give it to like their masses.
Oh yeah, we got a 420 show coming up at Jameson's. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Ira and Daryl and a headliner another co-headliner yet to be named. I'm gonna be in Fargo on April 26th doing a show there, and then back
At
in
the cellar?
Iowa at Nectar on May 18th with our good friend Aiden McCluskey.
Nice. Well, John, it's been nice talking to you. This was like a good hour.
Yeah, I had a lot of
And
fun, Kelly. I hope you got some good stuff here. And yeah, I wish your podcast well.
thank you very much. And hope to wish everyone out there well too. Just wellness all around. Berger
Allness,
out.
kisses, love to everyone, and may your wildest dreams come true, just like the movie said, right?
All right, and we are done.